Hi, welcome to The Shed. My name is Mr. H, and this is the One-A-Day Musicianship Challenge brought to you by Bob Rogers Travel. In this challenge, you are going to write and record a bass line that goes along with the drum groove that you recorded in the previous challenge. So let's talk about the relationship between the drums and the bass, because it's an important one. So I'm going back to The Shed, and I'm going to the bass line section, and we're going to click on bass lines. Now, there's a whole video that explains this relationship, but the most important thing to know is that the bass and the kick should be linked. For this project, for this challenge, I want you to take the exact same rhythm that you had in the kick and you're going to play it with the bass. If you ever went to a concert and you heard the subwoofers hit and the kick drum hit you in the gut, most of the time that's accompanied by the bass playing. You have that big relationship, that thump, and we need to use that as songwriters. So for this project, you need to make sure that the kick and the bass are 100% synced up. So whatever rhythm you chose for your kick, that's the rhythm that the bass is going to play. Mine was on 1 and the and of 3. So my bass instrument is going to be on 1 and the and of 3. The chord progression you're going to use is 4, 5, 6, 6. So let me show you really quick what that means. So in the key of C, C is 1. Yeah, C is 1. Okay, so 4 would be C, D, E, F. 1, 2, 3, 4. F is 4. G is 5. A is 6. And we're going to play that twice. Let me show you. Okay, so I'm going to create a track. Now, if you create a bass track, you kind of have to know how to play bass if you're just using the iPad, because it's going to show you this screen. It's going to show you this. Chords, we're going to not do that because I think it's cheating, but you would need to know that like that's a C on a bass, and you know that's a G, and that's an A, and that's an F. You need to know that. But if you had like a MIDI interface, you could just play it, which is nice. So I'm just assuming that you don't know where the notes are on bass. If you do, that's cool. So I'm going to delete this track, and this is how you delete a track. Click it, delete. Plus, I'm going to actually do a synth. I'm going to do a keyboard here. And I'm going to use a hip-hop sub bass. And so you could play it here, 4, 5, 6. What I would do is I would pick 3 consecutive fingers, and I would use those fingers to play your notes. We want F, G, and A. Those are all next to each other, and I'm going to place those next to each other. I'm going to use my middle finger, my index finger, and my thumb on the keyboard here. It's just going to make it easier to play. And remember, I'm going to play at the exact same time as my my drum groove here for my kick drum. So I have 1 and the and of 3. Now, the length that you hold out each note matters. I would make longer notes for bass. And then I would put a little bit of separation in between the bass notes themselves. So let's go to record it. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Okay, you heard that separation that I added in there. So now let's look at what we did. You can always listen back. I'm just going to quantize it right now, or check my quantizing. Just make sure it's set to 16th. Okay, you see that separation in between all those notes? So let's go in and look at how long each note was being played. We're going to click Edit, and from there it's down here, I believe, yeah. So now I can see that that last note was held out different lengths. So you could change it. If you zoom in, you click a note, you can hold the handle right at the end, and you can make it longer or shorter. Or you can accidentally drag the wrong note. But that is how you should play in your bass line. I think it's easier to play in bass lines and drum parts, so this should be easier for you. Record a screen recording when you're done. Send that to your teacher for submission. Good luck, and we'll see you in the shed.